I grew up here in Huntington Beach, and when I was a kid, we used to hang out at a place called the Hollows, which is actually where Smokey Stables is, or was. It's not even there no more. And they built bright water all over the whole thing. And when the gentleman talked a little bit ago about finding all the Indian artifacts, all that's true. But what he didn't talk about is some of the things that used to happen when we were kids down there, because I don't know if they were Indian ghosts, but it was kind of creepy. And we would hang out as long as we could till we got scared enough, and then we'd all get back on our stingrays and ride back. I grew up across the street from Marina. Anyway, there was one time I was there, my friends split, and I said, you know what, I'm staying till something happens. And I stayed there for about 15 minutes past the time after they left, and I remember thinking, dude, something's going to happen here. And I got back on my bike, and when I did, I felt like something had grabbed me on my arm and pulled me back. And it stuck with me for a long time, and I don't know what that was. It was probably a tree branch that I didn't see, but in my mind it was like someone had grabbed me. So years later, I move over by the Bolsa Chica Reserve where I live right now. I moved there in '81, still own my home and live there. It's kind of cool. But through the years, my kids grew up right there, and we used to have parties and stuff at the house, so there'd be a lot of kids, and my daughter used to say, Daddy, tell a story about the Hook Man. And it was a story that I developed about this guy who lived right there on the Bolsa Chica Reserve, and he had one of his arms ripped off. He had a big hook on it. And so I used to tell the kids, you know, if you go down the street when I'm not with you, there's a chance that the Hook Man is going to get you. And I said, well, how would they know? And I go, because when I was a kid, I'd be out there alone and I'd hear this. And it was like, what the heck was that, you know? And my daughter and my son and their friends would be all like, then what happened, you know? And I would tell them, well, if you stay out there long enough, he not only, you'll hear him, but he'll get you. And then they go, ah! And then I'd get their attention, and then we'd make a little noodles, and they'd, well, tell us more. And I go, well, we'd have to go down the end of the street. And they go, no, we're not going to the end of the street, uncle or grandpa or whoever it was. But kind of fun to kind of carry that on. To this day, I don't know if something grabbed me by the arm or a tree branch hit me, but I don't remember there being any trees that low. And some friends have had said, well, that place is haunted with Indians. When the gentleman sat here and talked about the possibility of that happening, who knows? But I'm living proof that something's going on up there. Anyway, I thought I'd share that.